This is Esty Williams, Educational Technology Coach for Beaufort County School District. This presentation is used for grades 6 through 8 Dell Tablet Rollout. To get started, we'll talk about Connect to Learn, which is the official name for Beaufort County School District being one-to-one with our devices. That means each student gets one device to use throughout the school year. This program has put a device into the hand of each student in our school district. These devices have tools like cameras and touchscreen, and of course, connecting our students to the World Wide Web, or the Internet. This allows students to expand their learning beyond the four walls of the classroom and gain information to so much more. That said, it is important to note that the devices do have a content filter that tries to help students focus on only school-related content. And please note, what's blocked at school will also be blocked at home. Speaking of home, students will have the opportunity to take the device home with them. To do so, they must return their AUP signed by their parent and pay the technology usage fee. What are some advantages to this? Well, think of everything that they can now do at home, how powerful their projects and lessons and learning will be when supported by their device. But speaking of power, we know that with great power comes great responsibility. The device gives students access to so much, and with that power of knowledge comes a great responsibility. So we're going to talk about some student responsibilities. First of all, it's important for students to know that the devices given out belong to Beaufort County School District. We are lending them to students, just like library books or textbooks. They are subject to inspection at any time, and they can be taken at any time. If there's any question or issue, any school district official, including teachers and principals, can take the device and keep it for as long as it's needed. But just because the school district owns the device, it doesn't mean that students aren't responsible. In fact, students are responsible for the care, content, and usage of their mobile device. No one else is supposed to be using the device except for the student who it's issued to. That means that parents, best friends, sisters, dogs, whatever, shouldn't be using the device, just the student, because whatever happens to that device is ultimately the responsibility of the student to whom it has been checked out. Additionally, the device is supposed to be used only for educational purposes. This is along the lines of supporting learning through practice, projects, research, and any type of assignment given by a teacher at school. Even when students take the devices home, they should only be using them to work on their schoolwork. A good rule of thumb is that if you have a personal project that you want to work on, or to play a game, listen to music, whatever, use a personal device. If it's a school project that you're working on, use your school device. We also like to emphasize with students that no food or drink should be around the tablet. This is a little easier in the classroom during the day, but a lot of our students do work at home in the kitchen, living room, dining room, and they could be a little bit more susceptible to get food or drink spillage. So please take extra care to keep those types of items away from the device. Each night, the device should be shut down and charged for the next day. We recommend that students plug the device in next to their cell phone if they have one. That way, they can try to remember each night to actually get it charged. We also would love for parents to help that process to make sure that it is getting charged and then put back into the tablet bag and brought back to school the next day. We also highly recommend that if the device is being used at home on the home Wi-Fi, that the device is shut down before it's returned the next day. That will allow the best connection to the network. Otherwise, sometimes when the device comes back to school, there could be a connectivity issue. If that is the case, there's an icon that looks kind of like this one on the tablet desktop that can be used to force restart the computer, and that usually will reset any internet connection problems. So once again, the device needs to come to school every day, charged, and placed in this nice tablet bag that's been given to students. We want that to be unplugged, closed, and in that carrying bag. You are able to get your own tablet bag, but it does need to be a special bag just like these, and Really, we just recommend using the one that's given because it's the perfect size and fit for your tablet. All of these types of bags are not places where the tablet should be placed. We do not want the tablet bag shoved into a backpack or any of these other types of bags because while the bag is padded and perfect for being used on its own, being squished into a small space can cause that screen to get cracked. So we do just want it to be carried separately in the bag that was given out with the device. Sometimes things go wrong with the tablets, just like any technology. We have some basic troubleshooting tips for students. We call it make it work. So the first thing that we ask students to do is to check their Wi-Fi. So if they just go down to the Wi-Fi icon, make sure that it's turned on, make sure they're connected. If they aren't connected, they can use that button on their desktop, again that looks kind of like this one, to force that restart and get that Wi-Fi working. A lot of times, just like with our phones, a simple closing and opening of the app will help those problems go away. So if, for example, the camera app isn't working, just close it, open it back up again, and a lot of times it will be working normally again. If those things don't work, we can always restart the device. By doing that, we want to use the Windows button and then go to the power and shut down, not just holding down the silver button. That should be very rarely used. And also, if there's any issue with the mouse or the keyboard, one thing you can do is actually reconnect that keyboard and get it into that tablet mode and then connect it back again. And a lot of times any connection issues will be fixed just by simply taking that keyboard off and putting it back on. So we do ask that students try to make it work, try these things on their own before they go for help on the device. One thing we don't want students to wait on though is any type of damage. The sooner the students report damage, the sooner that it can get repaired and get back to them. We also want to make sure that if we have any problems like a cracked screen, that we don't cause any danger by having the potential of getting a finger cut when using that touch screen. Also, don't forget that accidental wear and tear is actually covered by your $20 usage fee. So all cracked screens should be turned in. We'll get them fixed, get them back to you. Even if the device still works, please turn it in. Broken glass is not safe. That said, please know that you are responsible for deliberate damage. So deliberate damage means that students did something on purpose to damage the device. And that negligence is not covered in their usage fee. If you are interested in knowing the various prices for different repairs that need to be done, you can always contact the school. Now, something beyond a student's control is if the device is stolen. So if the device is stolen at school, first we do ask that the child does look around the school, check the obvious places, classrooms, gym, of course the bus or car, home. And if you take a day to do that and it still doesn't turn up, and it seems like it truly is stolen, then the school resource officer does need to be contacted. You can do that directly or have your child do that to fill out a police report. If the device is stolen off school grounds, someone breaks into your car or house and the device is taken, you need to call the police and get a police report for that as well. That police report then comes into the school and that device can be tracked. So once there's a police report, the school is able to start tracking that device to try to maybe locate it. So please get that done ASAP if anything happens with a stolen device. We also talk to students about another type of responsibility when using an odd device that's connected to the internet. Safety and ethics. Safety is keeping yourself safe online by not giving out important information to strangers, and ethics is treating people kindly. So one thing that we want to remind students of is to not give away their tablet password to their friends. We want to make sure that you think of your tablet just like your house. You don't want to leave it unlocked and open to anybody. You want to keep it locked. That's what your password does. It allows you to keep your computer locked. In fact, students can hit the Windows L key in order to lock their device to make it password protected. So if they were to get up and use the restroom, we recommend that they click Windows L to lock the device and make it inaccessible to any of their peers. Another safety issue are proxies. Proxies are basically something that students can install on their computer to try to get around our filtering system. So maybe it allows them to go to a game site and play their favorite game. But it's kind of like a window in a house. If you leave it open so that you can get out, that also leaves it open so that someone else can get in. And that is very dangerous to our network because we have 22,000 students accessing our network. And one little window open through a proxy can allow a hacker to get in and have access to all of our student devices. And also, getting on our network does also give them access to private student information. So we want to make sure that our students aren't doing anything dangerous to allow any hackers into our system. So proxies are not allowed, and any student who ends up having a proxy on their computer could face a disciplinary action at the school. When students are online, we do remind them that really nothing is private on the internet. Even when you delete something, it's really not gone. And we call that idea your digital footprint, everything that you're leaving behind online. And we ask students to think before they post something or do something online. Is what I'm doing true? Is it helpful? Is it informative, inspiring? Is it necessary? And is it kind? Just basically to conduct yourself in a nice manner when you are posting or interacting with your classmates online. We also know that cyberbullying happens, and it's probably not going to be in Google Classroom. We do know that beyond our device, or maybe using our device, students can be the victim of cyberbullying. So on their device, they actually have a link to see something, say something, and they're able to just report any incident anonymously. If they observe bullying or are themselves the victim of bullying, then whether it's cyber or otherwise, we really encourage them to take advantage of this anonymous reporting app. So putting it all together, students get their device in the class and they're able to see all the parts here, so you can take a look at that. Most everything that they need is actually right here on the left side. It has their headphone jack, their volume control, their USB charging port, and then the USB port for if they have a flash drive. Most of these other ports they don't need, and then it'll show the camera and the power button. But most things they'll need will be right here on the left-hand side. So students log in with their network username and password. They have that information. Most of them have it in their agenda somewhere. And once they log in, they get to the Windows desktop. One important thing is to look for the battery. We do want to make sure that both battery 1 and battery 2 are present. If you see a battery 2 not present, that could mean that battery 2 needs to be charged. You are able to disconnect the tablet part and plug the charger directly into the keyboard. If you don't have that keyboard charged fully, then what will happen is the whole thing will just drain much quicker than it should be. So that's something that you can check if you do notice that the tablet is draining of its battery a little bit quickly. In the Action Center, which you can find by clicking this little icon down in your taskbar, there are a lot of helpful things, including this Wi-Fi right here. This would be what you would use to connect to the Wi-Fi at home. So that would be important to be able to find and open this when you are at home and adding in that new home Wi-Fi. Speaking of being at home, ClassLink is a new service that we have in Beaufort County School District that can be accessed both at school and at home. When students open Google Chrome, the web browser Google Chrome, they will be taken to the ClassLink login page that looks something like this. They'll need to click that sign in button, and their login is their network username at BeaufortSchools.org. And that network username is in the form of their first name, middle initial, last initial, 4-digit birthday, month and day, and then that will be at BeaufortSchools.org. And then their password is their network password. So the network username and password are the same credentials that they use to log into the tablet itself. They just have to add that at BeaufortSchools.org to their username when they log in. Once they're logged in, they'll see this screen. So they'll have all these different apps that are available to them, which are truly just links to websites that are commonly used with teachers in our school district. And they also have access to their H drive files. So they can click this little My Files icon, and that will take them to their H drive files. Students can also, from this page, log into their Google Drive, Google Classroom. They can get to Overdrive to check out books. They can access that See Something, Say Something app. They can get to their Power School and various other websites that are used by, again, teachers in our school district. So this is a very important area for students to be able to access. And they can do that both at school and at home. I hope you have found this video informative and giving you some insight into what the grades 6 through 8 Dell tablet rollout looks like for students. If you have any questions, please contact your school at any time.